we're back. It is day 2 and we're going to finish up our little book plate project made with polymer clay and a digital download kit from Tracie Fox. So I have these 4 images. Here's the good, first of all, this was a really quick photo transfer project. If I was making a journal that I was going to sell, I would have spent a lot more time making sure that there was no bubbles in my polymer clay and that all my lines were straight. But because this was sort of a quick and dirty demo, I did not concentrate on those things so much. So what I will say is polymer clay, because it can be very wiggly and rubbery, it's hard sometimes to get that straight edge if you're not using a cookie cutter, which I don't believe we did. We might have on this one. So it's a little bit unstraight there, and especially I think I can see it more on the dragonfly. But the image came out great. They dried up perfect. There's so much detail on them. They are strong, as you can see. There are a few little imperfections and bubbles in them that, do you see that? That's what happens when you don't pop a bubble before you bake it. Or if you see a little lump, the bubbles kind of rise to the top. So those are little imperfections that when you're working on a really nice one, you would pay attention to. But since this is just sort of a fun demo, we're just going to continue on and go from there. So now I have things like textiles and scrap paper and things like that. And I just sort of want to work on making a little book plate now. So I'm going to find a little piece of cardstock. Okay. I have this sort of stronger piece of cardstock here. And I think that looks pretty cool on there, as does this too. There's a few neat things there. I'm going to play around here with some ideas. I also like the idea of maybe taking a vintage linen and using that behind. That's really cute. So polymer clay, one of the things you need to know is you have to be very careful with adhesives. You don't want to use anything that's going to corrode the project. And you might say, well, how do I know what will and won't corrode the project? Well, it all depends on what is the adhesive is made out of. And it's better just to say what's safe. Gorilla Glue and Super Glue are safe. I'm not sure Fabri-Tac is safe. So I'm going to go with Gorilla Glue for this project. So I took a corner of a doily, and this one has a lot more elaborate side than this does. So I think what I might do is balance off this side with some music. I'll tear that. I might have that coming off the edge there. It might be a little bit too perfect, so let's see if we can do like a little bit coming off here, and maybe something coming off of here. I like that. And I want a little color that kind of balances off the dragonfly. So I'm going to cut this a little shorter. And either it will be on the bottom or the top. I think I like that. something needs to happen up here. So I have a bunch of little metal doodads here. Let's see if anything floats my boat. I almost wonder if gold corners would look really cute there. Let me go see if I have some gold corners. Okay, I have some of the gold book corners, or I guess they're not gold, they're more like little brass, right? Let me see if I put those on. I like that, and I think it finishes those sort of wonky corners good. Yes, I like that very much. So what I'm going to need to do is find my Gorilla Glue. I actually have some super glue, which is going to be just as fine. Some of these aren't going to come off because it's nice and thick, but this one will. So I need to put on some little bit of super glue. And in my family, generally, I'm not allowed to use it. I'm not even joking. I've glued so many things that shouldn't be glued together. I tend to be a little bit messy, see, with my super glue. So my husband generally says, can you stick to a different kind of glue? I'm trying to push these down. But that corner really is a little thin, so. All right, so I'm going to let that set for a minute. And while I'm letting that set, I am going to add these pieces. So I'm going to need to ink because I want to grungy this up a little bit. Going to ink that, put that there. That's going to go here. And now I have to ink this up. And I do feel a little bit like I need something else in the corner, but I don't know what. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm just being a little overreactive. I might be able to put like a very thin metallic button if I have one. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it. I think I'm a little overkill here. Okay, so let's do the layering. So I obviously can use the Fabri-Tac here. I just have to make sure I know how far over I need it and which direction I want it. I like that edge sticking out, but I don't think there's enough musical notes. So I guess I'll just stick this really on the edge. To layer my green, which I think I'll layer under here. For some reason, I just don't like the idea of it sticking out. Stick that there. Stick the edge under there. And then I'm going to stick on my other piece of music. Which needs to be around there. Okay. just like that. So now those little pieces are sort of secure. I'm going to kind of look and make sure I'm happy with the coloring. I might want a little green up in this corner. Let's see. I kind of want something tatty. Let me see if I can make this a little tatty. See how I just made that fringy? If I put that coming out like that. Let's see. Let's see if it just comes out the edge a little bit. Just so there's just a little bit of color coming out there. Maybe I like it here. I think I want it just really subtle, just a little bit coming out the edge. So I'm going to stick that there. So now it's time for me to, I want to ink the edge of my clay, make it look a little bit aged and dirty. I already have the gold in there. I don't know if you can see, but I'm going to ink this. And now it's time for me to put this on here. So what I need to do, some of these aren't as straight as I want. Let me just alter them a teeny little bit. Okay. So now what I have to do is I need to come in with my super glue. And this is a great opportunity too to put on those corners again, keep it nice and straight. And unlike Fabri-Tac, super glue does not dry as quickly. So this is going to have to set for a little while. So I'm going to put that aside to set for a little bit. And then I had this little paper bag and I thought this might be a cute little place to put this little beetle. And it's gonna be too busy. Let's see what else I have. That's kind of cute. If this is kind of a little piece of cardstock. If this was like a little pocket in a journal. What else could we put on there? So I have this piece from another Tracie Fox kit that I didn't use. It was in the frame, the video that I did about the frames. That's really cute. And then I kind of like having it to one side. And I wonder if a little textile would. Yeah, let's do that. Now, I should just have a glue stick, but I didn't bring it down. So we're just going to make do with what I have right here. And I'm going to use the Fabri-Tac. Put it in place. Then I have this little piece of cardstock band that would go right here. And then I could put a little lace on there. So let's put the little band on. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm trying to get as many videos and things prepared today. One, because we have some nice natural light. Two, it's quiet. But three, we are definitely in it for the long haul. Our kids are going to be home. My husband's going to be home because of this COVID-19 coronavirus, and I am not going to have any privacy or quiet time to myself in the upcoming weeks, foreseeable future, we'll put it that way. So I'm trying to make my videos now and trying to get as many supplies put away because my son's school is making him take everything home from college. So we're going to have a little bit of a space crunch. So I like that too. It's kind of simple, but it's a neat little pocket. I'm going to use this as a pocket in a junk journal, so I don't need to worry about what the back looks like, and I do want to trim off this fiber. I'm working with limited supplies. And my poor husband, he's been so very, very patient with me, spreading out over the house to do all my work and to have my business, and now my son's coming home, so I need to get it all picked up. So this, I'm going to ink here. I want to bring out the scalloped edge a little bit. I think this bag was used. It's a little bit soft and tattered. And I'm going to glue this on here. Now, again, I could use the Fabri-Tac, but I just don't know if it's safe for polymer clay. So instead, I am going to use some super glue. I'm going to move that in place. And I like it to one side rather than centered. Wow, that really stuck quick. I have no way of altering that, so I better like what I did. And I think I want to put a little gilding wax on. Just on the edge here. Get the edge up. Put a little bit of gold sort of around. Some of the gold here on the edge there. And I don't know if I want something here. I sound like a, this is where you're like, is it overkill? Is it overkill? I want something on that side. Do I just want a little something over here? You artists that do all the layering, like the super layering as I call it, you know, layer on layer, make it look so easy, but after a certain amount of layers, I start getting a little bit nervous about how much I can layer. And I don't know that I really want to add more. It's just a cute little envelope that I could always add something else on it if I wanted to after. So let's go back to my book plate. It's still drying, and I have a couple more things that I have, right? So if I just wanted to go super simple, I could just take this piece of like linen and trim around it in a circle. Actually, that's probably about the right size. So if I get a pencil, and make a circle there. And you could just use these polymer clay embellishments as they are without anything behind them. But I just think, just like if they were just printed on paper, you need a little something extra a lot of times just to like really enhance the beauty that's already there. I don't have my fabric scissors with me, as you can see, so I'm going to struggle through this. But that's okay because I was just going to fray it anyway. And I'm not sure if it will fray in all directions because of the way that this direction of this fabric goes. It's a really rough cut, and I know that, and that's kind of what I was going for, so it's fine. And I'm just going to pull a lot of the fibers around it out. Make it like a real fringy, kind of messy, tatty. And because this weave is so, it's almost like a loose weave, and it's in such a linear way, it kind of would do well with a square, but a circle, it struggles a bit, which is okay. We'll see how that goes. All right. So now we have it a little tatty, and I'm just going to kind of put that down, and I can see that it looks pretty good, except this right here has a point, and that we definitely have to lose that point. So we need to pull some of these strings. Anything that looks like it's too squared off is going to show up more because it's a circle. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to take my ink and I'm going to make it a little dirty. I'm going to grungy it up. And I'm only on a tile. This will wipe away easily after, but you can see how much ink gets off with these. Okay. It's pretty good. And I can trim some of these strings if they're too long for my liking, but they probably won't be. I'm going to do a little bit more of this edge here. Okay. And I'm not even going to put down anything else other than this, just because I'm going to ink the edges a little. Because I think I just want this to be an embellishment that I can throw on something at a later date. That bubble, we could probably, if we wanted to, we could put a little something there to cover it. So we could put, I have this little gear. So I could throw some music paper on like that. I don't like that. See what else I have. I have a little piece of paper with a number on it. This was the page of the music page. See the 90? I almost like something very plain, so maybe just a colored sheet of paper, a tea-stained piece of paper, or just this sort of gridded paper. I mean, Tracie's done a lot of the work for me because it's it's already a bit of a multi-layer collage. Just going to put this little bit of super glue like that. Yeah, wow, paper really sticks to super glue super quick. Oh, maybe I like that little sticking up like that. Oh, I do like that. I think I saw a piece of a cut gear in here. Oh, I have a little gold one. That's perfect. I think that's what I'm going to stick with. So I'm just going to stick a little super glue here, this little super glue here, and then I have to put some super glue on the back of this guy. Make sure you have that lined up the way you want it, because you're not moving it around much after it's on. Okay, so that's, ooh, it goes through, so be careful where you put it while it dries. All right, so the last one we have is this little dude here. And honestly, he's not my favorite. He's got a couple little bumps here. I like the graphic, don't get me wrong, but this is backwards, recall, and there's some bumps. So I might just save him and throw him in my scrap bin and have him as another embellishment that I can pick out later. He might also be something that I want to isolate for a specimen. So we'll throw him out. So let me clean my workspace and then I'll show you what we have. Bin and have him as another embellishment that I can pick out later. He might also be something that I want to isolate for a specimen. So we'll throw him out. So let me clean my workspace and then I'll show you what we have. Okay, so we took the paper kit, as you remember, and we made some transfers with them. And from those transfers, we made these little embellishments. Now, I guess the question would be, how am I going to use them? So I just brought down an old book with a beautiful cover, and I just want to show you how effective these would be as a really pretty book plate on the front of a book. So if this was a journal, just think of how beautiful that is. I'm not sure, I think I still would add a little something here, but for the purposes of this, I think it's fine to see. It's thin enough, as you can see, that it's really not sticking out of the book too far. It's hard enough, and in person you can see that this almost looks like an enamel. People would probably look at this and not really know what material it is. It looks a little bit like a ceramic tile. It looks a little bit like resin. It feels like resin, or hard plastic. I don't think people would really know what this material was, and they would be fascinated by it. It gives a little bit of a more professional look than just a paper printout, because it is, you know, a more solid piece, but it's interesting. It's an interesting thought on how you can take a printout and do something completely different with it. So this would be like what this plate would look like. And then the bee, that's super cute too, just very simple for a beekeeping book. Look how cool that is. And again, it doesn't stick out a lot. It's very strong. It'll put up with a lot of contact. And I think if you're really putting a lot of adhesive down, the support of the book is really going to make this clay piece hold up. And then finally, let's say that this was the inside of a junk journal, which it isn't, but let's say it was. This is a great little piece that could be a pocket, or even on the inside of a book, right? Let's see what we have on the inside of this very old book. Could make a little pocket here and stick something, tuck something in. So it's really a great way to use a digital kit in a way that you're still using it in the way it's intended, but you're using it on a completely different material, and you're able to use it in more of a 3D way, making something a little bit more dynamic and a little bit more solid with a twist. There's absolutely no limit to what you can do with digital downloads, and there's absolutely no limit to what you can do with polymer clay. Joining the two together, the sky's the limit. I hope this has inspired you to try a new material, to try a new technique, and to have fun with those digital downloads that you already have. Thanks so much for joining me. Thank you, Tracie, for some beautiful kits that continue to give me options, and I'll see you all later.